continuing to be a difficult situation in northern Minnesota as fire crews continue to battle a number of fires there, but a difficult situation too for property owners and for outfitters trying to get people into the BWCA with permits canceled through tomorrow night. Let's go back up now to Claire Shirley, who is with Sawbill Canoe Outfitters. Thank you for being with us again.
Hi, thanks for having me back. Long time no talk.
Yeah, and we're going to get to the update. I know you got to share here in a minute. First, I just want to remind people again where you are located. I know you're on the sort of the southern part of the BWCA, but give people a geographical reminder of where you are.
Yeah, so the Boundary Waters is huge, right? It's over 1 million acres, so it spans a really big area up here in the Arrowhead region. Generally in the Boundary Waters, there's a few areas of access. So on the far western side is the town of Ely. On the far eastern side is the Gunflint Trail. And Sawbill, my business, is located in between those two on the southern edge of the Boundary Waters. So I'm at the end of the Sawbill Trail, which starts in Tofty on the North Shore of Lake Superior, or 24 miles inland, right on number 38.
Yeah, in terms of how busy you typically are in a normal summer, I mean, how many visitors, how many folks do you help outfit and get in to use their permits in the BWCA at any given year?
Yeah, I think one of the best metrics is how many overnight permits do we issue. So we're a cooperating business with the Forest Service, and that means that we issue those overnight permits for people to access the Boundary Waters. In a typical year, we're doing like somewhere around like 1,500 of those permits. Which is quite a lot. It's more than a lot of the ranger stations do even. So given our location that we're kind of by ourselves down here on the southern edge, we send in quite a lot of people. And that's just overnight trips. That's not even counting like day trips and people staying in the campground and all the other visitors that we see.
Wow. So how many of those permits then impacted during this closure period?
A lot. So each entry point has its own allotted quota for each day. For example, the Sawbill entry point, you can have 11 permits enter per day. So every day that it's closed are 11 groups that can't go in on the Sawbill entry point. And we service, 9 entry points in the Tofty district here. So it's a pretty big impact.
Yeah. I know you were expecting or got an update today from the U.S. Forest Service about potentially, closures beyond tomorrow or partially reopening. What did you hear?
Yeah, so just about a half an hour ago, we got word from the Forest Service, and it kind of came in 2 parts. So the good news, I'll start with the good news, is that there are some limited entry points that are going to reopen for day use only starting on Monday, July 27th. So that's huge. That's going to be great news for us. The Sawbill entry point is one of those. There's a map. You can access it on the Superior National Forest website. We'll share it on Sawbill's website and social media as well. But it's basically entry points from the Sawbill area going east and then towards up to mid Gunflint Trail area. So all of those areas will be open for day use. Day use in the Boundary Waters is free. There's a self-issued permit that you fill out. They're unlimited, so people can go in and paddle and fish to their heart's content. You just have to exit the Boundary Waters at night. So that'll start Monday, July 27th. We're grateful for that. People can still experience the Boundary Waters now. We were really hopeful about overnight permits. Those, unfortunately, the second half of the news is that those are going to be canceled through Wednesday, July 29th. So if you have a permit between now and July 29th, the Forest Service is going to be canceling that. You'll get an automatic refund from recreation.gov. If you were working with an outfitter, hang tight. We're going to reach out to you. It's going to take a while, but we'll get in touch with you and talk about other options going forward.
Okay. So again, mixed news there, but certainly headed in the right direction for, for businesses and for people that want to enjoy it. You had mentioned too, I just was watching your Facebook update from yesterday, and I mean, daily you're giving pretty thorough updates on your situation there. You said the air quality is great. The weather has been great. I mean, those are all bits of good news too.
It is. I would say if I could take you on a little tour of our area right now, it is just typical July conditions. It feels like a normal July day. The only part that doesn't feel normal is that we're kind of by ourselves and there's nobody here right now, and my parking lot is empty. Other than that, it feels like a really normal July day. The good news also in the Sawbill area, our local sheriff did take our area out of the ready status. So when you're talking about wildfire, like evacuations and things, they use the ready, set, go evacuation statuses. We had been in ready for about a week, maybe a little more, and they took us out of ready. So that's really great news. The fire on the east zone here, the Little Knife Fire, is showing very little fire activity. The Forest Service has brought in a National Incident Management Organization, which is the big federal firefighter, the specialist team that have come in. They're working on a plan to work on controlling that fire. But it's not very active right now. So we're not seeing any smoke. We're not in any sort of imminent danger. We're not in any of the statuses. So things are pretty normal here, which is great. So we're just super excited to be able to start sending people out on day trips and being able to get out and experience that wilderness. Our campground is open here. We have a 50-site campground. Our store is going to be open. We've kept all our staff on. So we're excited to start seeing people again. We want to get back to work. We love what we do.
Well, yeah. I mean, you wouldn't be up there doing this if you didn't love it. How many years have you operated Sawbill?
Yeah, this is my 11th year as owner of Sawbill, but I grew up here. So it's a family business. My grandparents actually founded Sawbill in the 1950s. And I grew up as a kid here, and I'm raising my kids here now. So I've been here my whole life and have been in charge now for 11 years.
Wow.
It's been a wild ride. It's been a wild 11 years, but I wouldn't change it for anything.
No. Have you ever experienced a summer quite like what we've had here these last few weeks?
You know, there was a closure. They did close the Boundary Waters for fire activity in 2021. It was a different circumstance then because there were a couple of small fires that were much closer to Sawbill then. Thankfully, they never amounted to anything, but it did feel a little bit more stressful. It also happened in August when we had already really had the bulk of our season. And so it was different circumstances, felt a little more anxiety inducing then. This time, we feel pretty okay because we're in such a safe position. I mean, our thoughts are with our friends and colleagues in Ely and some at the end of the Gunflint Trail who are facing longer closures and are in areas that are more affected by fires. We're actively working on ways that we can help support them. So if you want to shop their online stores, check those out. There's some funds in Ely that folks can donate to that are helping people that are displaced by the fires over there. So certainly some of our friends and colleagues are in much worse off positions, and we feel really fortunate here.
Okay, and then just to reiterate, at least for the entry points that you have there, day trips beginning on Monday and potentially overnight trips beginning a couple of days after that. Potentially.
We'll see. Yeah, potentially. There's, I think there's a world in which that makes a lot of sense. Like I said, it's very typical July conditions around here. There's no fires anywhere nearby us. I think it would be a very reasonable prospect to open the east zone of the Boundary Waters in some limited fashion here. I'm hopeful that we can show that day trips are safe and that folks are having a good time and that we can, have overnight paddle permits start. They're canceled now through Wednesday, the 29th. So. Okay. If you got a permit for the 30th or thereabouts and then on.
Keep your fingers crossed, yeah. Claire, appreciate you taking the time again and helping keep us all informed. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right. Claire Shirley with Sawbill Canoe Outfitters.